everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please hit that like and subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content on my channel. Any help you guys can give me here on the channel is greatly appreciated. Well, we have a big story in the world of Hollywood that came out yesterday. Obviously, you know, the streaming wars are absolutely real, ladies and gentlemen. This comes to us, I believe, from CNBC. So let's get into this article here where apparently AT&T is selling WarnerMedia, and WarnerMedia will now be merging with Discovery. There's been a little bit of confusion about whether or not this is actually a selling of WarnerMedia or whether or not it is a merging of WarnerMedia with Discovery. It is a WarnerMedia merge with Discovery, but AT&T will no longer own it, as some reports have neglected to mention. Telecom giant AT&T announced Monday a deal to combine its content unit WarnerMedia with Discovery, paving the way for one of Hollywood's biggest studios to compete with media giants Netflix and Disney. Under the agreement, AT&T will unwind its $85 billion acquisition of Time Warner, which was just 3 years ago, and form a new media company with Discovery. The deal would create a new business separate from AT&T. That's the key right there. It's not part of AT&T, so they do not own it. That could be valued as much as $150 billion, including debt, according to the Financial Times. AT&T said it would receive an aggregate amount of $43 billion in combination of cash, debt, and WarnerMedia's retention of certain debt. AT&T shareholders would receive stock representing 71% of the new company, while Discovery shareholders would own 29%. If approved by regulators and the government, the deal effectively reverses AT&T's year-long plan to combine content and distribution in a vertically integrated company. The company said the deal is expected to close in the middle of 2022. Shares of Discovery and all that were, falling 5% at the end of the regular trading. AT&T stock price fell 2%. Obviously, with a big move like this, the stocks are going to drop some here and there. AT&T said Discovery president and CEO David Zaslav will lead the new company, which will have a new name announced in coming days. The board would consist of 13 members, 7 initially appointed by AT&T, including the chair, and Discovery would appoint 6 members, including Zaslav. They obviously talk about the acquisition here, but the biggest, the long and short of it is this: AT&T is selling off WarnerMedia. AT&T no longer wants to be involved in the media content world, in the world of Hollywood. They want to go back to selling cell phones and 5G and things like that. They want to focus. That's where they want their focus to be. Now they did purchase WarnerMedia as little as 3 years ago for $85 billion, and they're getting $43 billion in return. This is a huge financial loss for AT&T. Obviously, the big thing here is it's going to mean that Discovery is now going to own a lot of content that HBO and everything under WarnerMedia. Here's kind of a full list of things that they're going to be owning now. Discovery Plus obviously had the rights to Discovery, Food Network, HGTV, Oprah Winfrey's network, OWN, as well as TLC and some other things here. But with the acquisition now of WarnerMedia, they're going to be able to possibly and most likely combine Discovery Plus and HBO Max into one streaming service that will probably also contain obviously all the Warner Brothers movies and TV shows, HBO, CNN, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, DC. That's the big one here. DC's Comics is now going to be owned by Discovery, not Warner. Well, I mean, I guess they'll still be under WarnerMedia technically, and Warner Brothers will probably still distribute those films, but obviously they will no longer be under AT&T, and now they'll be, be headed up by this David Zaslav feller over here on Discovery. So, I mean, that's kind of the thing. And obviously TNT and TBS as well. Obviously, for any pro wrestling fans, AEW, which is now the new wrestling company in the last few years, is going to be under the new ownership, or at least their cable networks will be under new ownership. So we'll see how that affects things with them moving forward. But when it comes to the world of movies, obviously, this is going to be a big deal. I mean, how does this kind of affect things going forward? It's going to be kind of, to me, kind of like what happened with Disney and Fox. Disney and Fox, it took 6 months to a year and a half, maybe 2, for the government regulations to go through and for this deal to become fully integrated here and be finalized. So as of right now, it's business as usual at Warner Brothers, and things are going to continue to come out with the current releases that they have planned and productions they have in production at this point. So things like, especially in DC, Black Adam, Suicide Squad, The Flash, The Batman, all that sort of stuff that is currently in production or in post-production will continue as scheduled. It just all depends on when this deal gets finalized, what happens with the productions that are currently not in full production yet, whether or not they'll get made or not after the fact. But if you're in production as of now, I'd say your project is probably safe, because they'll probably finish that and then start once the acquisition is done, and then they'll make decisions about their upcoming projects then going forward with new leadership. But obviously, there's still going to be members of Warner Brothers that are going to be shuffled around under the new ownership and stuff like that too, I'm sure. So we'll see how they that affects the world of the DC universe, which is already in a great deal of flux after some of the Zack Snyder stuff and things like that. Obviously, there's a whole story about Jason Kilar, how he's going to be stepping down, obviously, because Jason Kilar is who rubbed Hollywood the wrong way, especially when it comes to releasing a lot of their movies in 2020, actually all of their movies in 2021 and some in 2020 directly to HBO Max instead of going to the traditional theatrical release window that gives the theaters an exclusive window to where they can make profit there instead of giving it away on streaming right away. Obviously, they upset Dune director Denis Villeneuve, Tenet director Christopher Nolan. A lot of other people in Hollywood felt like that they did them wrong, and obviously people feel like AT&T just was not running Warner Brothers very well to begin with, and a lot of people, DC fans would definitely probably agree with that too. Now, even though I think some of the DC stuff we didn't quite fully see everything that AT&T had planned, because they were the kind of behind some of the reshuffling a little bit here too. So I mean, I don't know how fair it is to say maybe they ruined DC yet. We were still trying to make that transition happen with some of their plans going forward, and this could shuffle a lot of things in DC. We'll see how that goes, but I really want them to get that corrected. But this sounds like in the long run, it could be a good deal for the DC and all these properties as a whole. Obviously, this includes now, on top of all the networks and everything that Discovery now owns, they will be owning, I believe I had a list here, DC, obviously, Hanna-Barbera, Looney Tunes, Matrix, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. All these high-profile properties will be now under the Discovery banner, which, again, at least they have a commitment to making media content. And since they have Discovery Plus, they obviously want to get as much content in the streaming wars. Just like I did another video on my channel that came out today about Amazon wanting to acquire MGM. These companies want to compete with Netflix and Disney. That is the prime goal right now. In order to do that, obviously, there's a little bit more wrinkles into this outside of that, but that is one of the major factors as all of this happening here. We're probably not going to see the effects of this probably to at least 2023. Obviously, with all the transitions that are going to take place between leadership and working parts through working down the line here from Discovery to WarnerMedia and all this stuff, it's going to trickle down. Obviously, we're going to possibly be seeing definitely a streaming service that is going to be combined and have much more content on it, which makes a lot of sense. But there's also talk now that maybe Universal could also join this, and Peacock could possibly even become this, big, streaming service with Peacock, Discovery Plus, and HBO Max maybe joining forces, and all their content could be in one place. And if that's the case, you got The Office, you got Friends, you got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you got all these things on top of all these great movie IPs that you could, branch out with DC as well to do TV, movies, and all the above. And I think that they could be one of the big three at the end of the day with Disney and Netflix. And we'll see what Amazon does here too. Paramount Plus is kind of falling behind a little bit here. They may have to do some things outside of Star Trek and Mission Impossible and certain things to kind of get that ball rolling to stay up in this competition. But yeah, this is a big deal for Hollywood. It is going to be a game changer moving forward. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to. I mean, like I said, right now, there's not going to be a whole lot that changes in the immediate future, but down the line here, there's going to be a lot of major shifts moving forward. But what do you guys think about the AT&T deal where they will be selling WarnerMedia to merge with Discovery Plus? Comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content on our channel here. And until our next video, guys, take care.